OMG, baby, tell them.
Hey there, welcome to Powered by Backers. I'm at the beach. Not really. I am actually in a hotel room, but I am joined here by my esteemed guest, Karen Stintz. Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Justin. It's great to be on your show.
Yeah, I appreciate you. This is actually the second time we've tried this. Last time I was actually traveling as well and didn't have the right internet connection. So I appreciate your patience and joining us. So I'll do a quick bio here. So Karen, you are the president and CEO of Variety, the children's charity of Ontario, which also is Variety Village, which I was a frequent flyer of as a child, a community center in sort of the heart of Scarborough near the Bluffs that services, I guess, a wide range of people, specifically though geared towards people with, needs, special needs, disabilities, physical disabilities, I would assume. I probably am not socially correct in what I'm saying, but
no, you're fine. You're doing great.
Right. So, but you were also a former city councillor.
Yes.
For 10, 11 years, I think.
11 years.
I looked at 11 years.
Yeah, 11 years.
As well as the former chair of the Toronto Transit Commission. So anyone that's from Toronto or the GTA is very familiar with the TTC or what that is. So, obviously you have a esteemed, established, long-standing career, public service career. So why don't we jump into, tell us a little bit about, and you said you're sort of in the gear of working in the camp. Tell us a little bit about summer camp at Variety Village. Because I was a camper 25, 30 years ago, I guess. I'm 42 now, so probably 30 years ago. Yeah. Give or take, 30 plus years ago. So tell us a little bit about the summer camps that you guys offer.
Well, on a normal year, we'd have about 2,000 kids that would come through our summer camps in July and August. And so it's a pretty busy time for us. This year, we had about half that, a little less than half.
Okay.
So we had 90 kids a week and coming through. We started slow in July. People were a little nervous about what summer camp would look like and whether it would be safe to send their kids back. But it's been fabulous. We have had more kids come every week, and this is our second last week of camp, and it has been fantastic.
And you guys have a massive facilities there, right? And the kids are loving it. Yeah, that's
absolutely.
And they've been maybe stuck at home, so now it's a chance for them to get out and see other kids, right?
Yeah, it was fabulous. The first week, so we have a 178,000 square foot facility. So we have a big facility. We have an indoor track, as you know, 3 basketball courts. We have a pool. We have a lot of space, and we have a lot of space for outdoor play as well. And so we had two reactions from the kids on the first week of camp. We had the kids that hopped out of the car and didn't look back, and the moms who drove out of the parking lot and didn't look back.
Right.
And then we had the kids that were a little shy and they needed a little bit of support to come into the facility and take part in camp. But every kid came back. Yeah. And we had a lot of families that had signed up for a week that ended up having their kids come for the whole summer.
To re-up for the rest of the summer. That's awesome. Yeah, no, like I said, as a kid, I spent a couple summers, throughout sort of my maybe late single digits. I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9 in that range, I guess. Yeah. So definitely some fun times there, and you get to use, I guess, a little bit of like the Birchmount sort of the fields there and stuff like that as well. You can go off over that space. So yeah, a lot of space to kind of to get out there. That's very cool. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what the charity side, or you know what, I'm gonna take a step back. Tell us a little bit about what it's like being a city councillor, and maybe what got you into that role, and what it was like. I think that'd be interesting. And then we'll talk about the charity a little bit. But yeah, we'll take this step back in time.
Step back in time. Yeah, it was pretty an interesting run for me when I first got into politics in 2003. Right. I was running at the same time that David Miller was running for mayor, and I was running for council. So it was a few years ago, and I was running against an incumbent, actually. So someone who had held their seat for over 30 years. Wow.
And you were somewhere in central Toronto. Where was it? Like Eglinton?
Yeah.
Midtown, sort of? Yeah, Yonge. And, okay, wow, okay.
Exactly. Right. So the general consensus was that it was a nice little hobby for me to run, but I wasn't going to win because the person who had the seat had it for a long time and had a lot of name recognition in the area.
Are you allowed to say the name? Are we allowed
Ann
to
Johnson.
Ann Johnson? Okay.
Yeah. And so she had represented the area for a number of years and was seen to be unbeatable. As it was, what happened is the area changed a lot in 30 years, and new homes were built and people moved out of the neighborhood and boundaries were changed. And, so it was actually not what people expected. It wasn't like running against an incumbent. It was like running against or running in an open ward, because not a lot of people knew who their counselor was.
There was a lot of, nobody had awareness of either candidate, basically.
That's correct. That's correct. And so it was really interesting. And so when I won, I was quite surprised, as were a number of other people. And I remember a photographer from The Sun had come out and he said to me, there's only been 2 people that I've seen in politics be as surprised that they got elected. The first one was Bob Ray when he won the NDP, when the NDP won the provincial election. And he said the second person was you.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So complete shock to not only everyone else, but you as well. Interesting. That's cool. So I guess what did you do prior to running in politics? What?
I worked at the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care.
Oh, okay.
And I worked there for probably 5 years on a project that the province was financing, the construction of 20,000 new long-term care beds, as it were. Project.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And so you went to Queens. You've got a MP, a Master of Public MPA, Master of Public Administration. Okay, interesting. Okay, so Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care, go into city councilor, surprisingly win.
Yes.
What now? So what did you run on? I'm actually interesting. What was your platform that you ran on? Pop machines in the cafeteria, or?
No.
I'm joking.
So, safe neighborhoods, responsible development.
Right.
Young and Eglinton had changed. It's quite a lot of
the demographics had sort of changed.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, and, safer streets, that bread and butter stuff that matters to people who live in the area.
Right. Cool. And so I'm assuming you lived in the area.
Yes, I did.
You were from, do you have to be from the area? You still do. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Do you have to be from the area? I mean, this is maybe my naiveness for politics. You don't have to live in the riding or jurisdiction that you're running in. No. Okay.
No.
But you did, which obviously it helps because it makes you a part of the people, right? You're for the people, by the people kind of thing, right?
Correct. And you know the issues, you know your neighbors, and so you get a sense and a feel of what's going on.
Right. Cool. Okay, so tell us a little bit about being in politics. Was that, so you said Miller, right?
Yep.
And then
I worked with Miller and I worked with Ford.
Ford, okay, yeah, that's what I was trying to get the time frame. Okay, So tell us about that. That's gotta be a interesting dynamic shift, I would assume, between the two. Yeah. So what was it like working with either, or what was it like just in general being a city councilor, I guess? How is that? Tell us a little bit of, I don't want all the war stories or horror stories, but tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's a really interesting job in that, you represent your community, so you need to know about all those issues that matter to the community, but you're also on council. And the City of Toronto is a $10 billion organization, more now. The police budget alone is over $1 billion. The TTC is over $1 billion to run. So it's a lot of big picture, big issues that you have to be knowledgeable about. But then there's also the fence disputes and the dog park disputes and the neighbor against neighbor disputes that you need to be available to help resolve. So it's an interesting job in that you have to deal with a whole range of issues.
So sort of like full range of, I'm losing my hand as I move it up and down because of the background, but full range of sort of from very small to very big problems. That's interesting.
That's it. And every day is a new day. So you tackle the problems of yesterday. That doesn't mean that you're ready for the next day. So you always have to know what's going on.
Right. Does it put a few grays on the top of the head, I guess, 100%. Right? 100%. I've seen a sort of, I don't know if you've seen it there from Obama. They show from the beginning to the end, and the sort of the color of his hair, it goes from, black to, completely gray. So I guess it's as a result of the stress. Okay, interesting. So you had 10 years transitioned. We don't really need to get into Ford. I think everyone's familiar with what happened with Rob Ford and his trials and tribulations. But obviously, you know, rest in peace. So fast forward, tell us a little bit about the TTC, because I think that was interesting too. When I didn't realize that you had worked or were the chair of the TTC. Was that when there was a younger, taller gentleman in his maybe early 30s? Was the
Adam Jambrone. Yeah, he was the chair before me.
Okay. He was the chair before you. Okay, so
right.
So you took over from him. So tell us a little bit about the TTC. What are your thoughts on the Eglinton and or Shepherd and or all of those? Can we talk about that at all, or?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was at the heart of it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's what I figured, right? So, what are your thoughts on everything? What's happening?
Yeah, so it was great. It was very controversial at the time, of course. Right. The Eglinton Crosstown and the Scarborough subway remain somewhat controversial today, although the Eglinton Crosstown is being built. Yes. And I would say of all the things that I remember back and being proud of in politics, that would be the highlight.
Eglinton Crosstown.
Bringing that decision to council and having council approve that project and then having the province fund that construction. For me, that was a legacy project.
Awesome. Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I'm from Scarborough, so I watched, actually lived in North York as they started to build the North York line into like Bessarion, and then it just ends. Or I guess now it goes to, what's the mall? Fairview? But I guess the question is whether it will continue. But interesting. I think that was a little before. That's probably like 15 years. But the Eglinton Crosstown has been, I guess, in the past 10 years, give or take, or in the mid 2000s.
It started about 5 years ago, and I think we've got another 5 years at a minimum until it's complete.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. I know. I think you know, definitely from a citizen or a Torontonian, having better transportation is definitely something that, you know, we would all hope for and wish for. So I appreciate definitely subways and crosstowns and all that. So thank you for that. So let's jump into Variety Village, or Variety, the charity of,
Variety, the children's charity.
The children's charity. So tell us a little bit about the work that you guys do. Obviously summer camps, I love it, but tell us, I mean, there's more to it than just the summer camps and the facility. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, the transition, what made you maybe decide to get into, and if you can hear, that's my kids, we're in a hotel room, but anyways, they're fighting in the bathroom. My wife's at the spa, so so it's daddy daycare for this afternoon, but
I mean, this is the new world we all live in, right?
Right. We decided to come up to Collingwood for a spa, a little staycation, or whatever you want to call it. But anyways, so tell us about the transition.
So I was, so I ran for mayor, and of course wasn't successful. And then I had the opportunity, I like to joke that I had the opportunity to become mayor of the village. So I took that opportunity, and it's been wonderful.
Right.
So Variety Village has been, and Variety, the children's charity, have been in Scarborough for over 70 years.
Right.
And we've been serving the community in a number of ways. But what became obvious to the organization and to the board and to myself was that too many people with a disability couldn't come to Scarborough to receive the services that we have. So we needed to bring our programs out across Ontario.
Right.
And that's what we've been doing for the last 5 years. We have been, we deliver programming at Variety Village to over 6,000 people, but and then we're also we partner with the school board, so we have programming in the schools. But what we wanted to do is to bring our programming out into other municipalities so that more kids could be able to get the benefits of the programs that we provide, so that they can break down their barriers in their communities.
Right. So are you actually looking to open facilities outside of your current facility? No, so it's just maybe going into those communities, to existing sort of community centers or school boards, and providing activities, or would you provide staffing, or how does that really work? How do you set that up?
There's two programs that we provide. One is Volt Hockey, and one is Children in Motion. And Volt Hockey, so to give you an example.
Can you hear them scream?
Yeah.
I can't even yell at them because they're in the bathroom.
That's okay. Anyways, do you want to?
No, we can continue on. It's fine. As long as people know. Yeah. Can I yell on live TV? Hey, be quiet. Hey guys, be quiet.
That's right.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, continue on. It's the modern world, right?
The modern world, exactly.
Yes. Okay, cool. So you have two programs that you run. Sorry, what was the first one you said?
It's called Volt Hockey.
Volt Hockey. Okay.
Volt Hockey. So Volt Hockey is an adaptive sport, and it's a custom designed chair that's battery operated, and a child with a disability can operate it using a joystick, basically. Okay. And it's designed like a chair.
Right.
And it's basically a variation of floor hockey. So instead of playing floor hockey with a stick, you play it in a chair. It can be played on any gym surface.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so the chairs, because they're custom designed, are expensive. Right. And but once you buy, that's the really. So
you bring the equipment to the community so that the people there have the ability to play an activity that's more adapted to themselves.
That's correct. And so we partnered with the Y. We've partnered with the municipality of Barrie, Niagara, Newmarket, Markham. And so we've actually, in 2015, Variety Village had the only 10 chairs in the country. But now we're in 4 municipalities. We have 4 teams in 4 municipalities in Ontario, plus we have 2 teams in Alberta.
Very cool. So they've bought their own equipment and sort of they're able to provide that, or you bring them to them?
We bring the equipment to them. So we fundraise for the equipment. We actually Variety is we're the only ones in Canada that can buy the equipment. So we have the sole distribution rights for Volt hockey chairs in Canada.
Okay, cool. And so how many of them do you have now? How many chairs do you have across all those municipalities now?
So now we have over 60 chairs.
Okay, so that's a lot of people providing activity for a lot of I guess youth or children with disabilities across sort of Southern Ontario. Cool. Yeah. And what was the other program you said was?
Children in Motion. That program, it wasn't really designed for kids with autism, but that's mainly the kids that are benefiting from the program. Okay. And so we run that program out of Variety Village. We run it out of the MLSE location at the Launchpad, downtown Toronto. Yeah. And we're now partnering with the Boys and Girls Club so that we can offer it through their network as well.
That's very cool. Very cool. So I mean, expanding sort of your reach. It's funny, I was speaking to a lady yesterday who does physiotherapy and sort of she started her own clinic and now they've gone in sort of the dance side and they've created an entire digital platform to get out to not only in Canada or Toronto based, but across the world, sort of providing their physio services digitally. So, I mean, being able to expand your reach because like you said, people can't all come to Scarborough. As nice as it is, and the Bluffs are, they can't all come to Scarborough. Although they all want to, I know they do.
I know they do.
Yeah, they do. we just can't get them all here. We can't accommodate them all. Okay, cool. Well, Karen, I really appreciate it. I mean, you've obviously created a legacy with the, the Eglinton Crosstown. I think obviously you're doing a great job with Variety Village and Variety, the children's charity. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Thank you for joining me. I always end on one sort of question. Okay. And I think yours will be very interesting to hear the answer. If there was one word, if you could go back and talk to a younger you, or somebody coming up, it could be a younger you or somebody coming up, and there was sort of one word or one sort of piece of advice, what would you give or what would you say to a younger Karen Stintz?
Be resilient.
Be resilient. Okay.
Yes.
So you weren't, or do you feel like maybe there were times you weren't?
Yes, definitely. There's times that I wasn't. And I think resiliency is the one thing that will get you through challenges and actually help you appreciate all the opportunities that life has to offer. So I'd say be resilient. Be
resilient and appreciative of, so kind of it goes hand in hand, I think, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Karen, thank you.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining me. For everyone else, it's powered by backers. It is, what day? Wednesday? I don't know. Anyways, I will be back.
Wednesday the 18th.
Yeah, Wednesday the 18th. I'll be back again tomorrow. There you go. 19th. There you go. I'll be back again tomorrow.
OMG, baby, tell them.